to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast with Mike Kincaid and Jake Goebel. Join them as they experience specialty coffee and document their journey. These friends explore roasts and roasting methods, brewing equipment and techniques, and review the cafes they visit along the way.
Thanks, Brioni, and thank you for joining us for episode 71 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast, where we talk about a milk experiment that we had done a couple weeks ago. Manny G recommends checking out competition brew winners' recipes, talk about a coffee experience I had at Girona Coffee, and also our coffee legend. Let's go ahead and let's jump right in. Thank you for listening. Yes. Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. The sweet voice that you hear right now is Jake Goebel. With me, my partner in coffee crime, is Mike Kincaid. Can you say what's up, Mike?
What's up?
Boom. That's the Mike Kincaid voice. It is a robot. It is artificial intelligence. Unlike Facebook's AI, we have not shut down our AI, constantly finding new ways to communicate the coffee of the awesomeness, the awesomeness of coffee to you. That's what we're here for. We're here to document our journey in specialty coffee. And wait a minute. No, we're here to experience specialty coffee and document our journey. So, wow, it's been a little while since we have podcasted in the morning, and we are really nailing it today. Really nailing it.
This is good.
It is earlier in the morning. Obviously, you can tell because I'm a little bit subdued, and the words are not coming quite as quickly as possible, as quickly as normal. Anyhow, it's not flowing. It is not flowing. It's going to
be fun.
But we're going to keep going.
I'm excited.
Well, what I've got sitting in front of me, if you're watching the video, you don't have to watch the video if not, but if you're just listening, I'm going to let you know I made coffee this morning. In the morning, I'm making waffles. No, just coffee this morning. I've got some King Cup that Mikey roasted that we're going to drink. And then also, big shout outs to my man, Ryan Fisher, because he sent us some Bizzy coffee. And we're going to review that as well. We're going to drink it, and we can either just shoot it straight out of the bottle. It's a small bottle, or we're going to pour it into glasses and drink it on ice. One of the two. I don't know yet. I don't know what's going to happen. All I can tell you is that we're going to take a look at coffee. We're going to drink coffee. We're going to talk coffee. We are going to have an awesome time. We're going to talk about business, coffee business. We are just, man, so excited to be here with you, Mike. So excited to be here with you guys on the airwaves. And I'm just pumped up. I'm just stoked. Mikey is currently holding the Kalita. What is that called? Was it the design series? Is that what it was?
I think it was like the style.
The style series, something along those lines. But it's a carafe. And it was a Kalita 185, but it brews into a carafe, very similar to a Chemex, but I kind of like it more than the Chemex. The way it brews is the Kalita Wave device is made out of glass, and it sits in this metal frame, and that metal frame sits in the top of the carafe. You brew it, you take it out, boom, you can pour it. It's great. Really great. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up for you. We're going to talk about a business, just kind of personal safety inside a cafe, I guess, is something that we're going to take a look at. Manny G is going to recommend some coffee for us. We're going to talk about Girona Cafe. It's a place that I went. We're going to talk about finally, the great milk experiment, and then we're going to get into our coffee legend. Do you have anything to say, or do you want me to keep dominating the podcast?
Yeah, I think you've got it. I've got somewhere I got to be, so this works. Well,
good morning, Mike. How are you?
Good morning. I think we're going to need some new glasses of ice here before we hit the Bizzy.
That is good. Or just kind of get the water out.
Melted.
Yeah.
No, I think this is good. Yes, it's early, so forgive us if we stumble or don't and just laugh.
Yeah,
enjoy it, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Maybe it will be reversed, and my speech will be impeccable, and yours will be a hot mess.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of fun.
That would be nice. This coffee is so good. I don't want to right hook you too much, but I got to tell you, the King Cup that Mikey roasts, I can drink all day. Pure, straight up, neat, however you want to call it.
Straight up.
We don't normally call it straight. We don't call it plain black. We find that those terms could possibly be offensive, and so we go with neat but then that could possibly be offensive to those of you who don't drink alcohol, because neat is kind of bar jargon.
Yeah.
And so then pure, and I was going to go with pure, but then I found out that being a white male, that could be a reference to Nazism and kind of the Aryan
pure
race,
yeah.
the pure race. So now I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to call coffee with no cream and sugar. Because I used to call it, I'll just take mine black, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't do that no more. I'll just take mine straight. Nope, can't do that no more. Neat, oh, you're an alcoholic. Pure, oh, you're an Aryan. I don't even know what to say anymore. I don't even know what to say. But I'm drinking this without cream and sugar, and I can drink it all day.
No
all
additives.
Natural. But see, now the people are going to be offended because maybe I've had some surgeries. And you don't think I'm all natural?
If they don't take it all natural, you're offending them. Oh, what?
Right. Oh, okay. So I'm polluting? What is this? Is not natural? Is this not cream?
Because I like cream. I'm a lower class citizen. I don't care about the environment as much.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't like grass-fed beef. I don't want the cows to have happy lives to provide me with cream and steak and milk.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we've got a problem. What is the answer? The answer is we're going to call it neat or pure, and
we're going to find whichever demographic is smallest and offend them.
Play the numbers. Play the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That sounds great.
Brilliant.
I think that's great. Although I think we quite possibly have just offended everyone with the intro.
That's the other alternative.
That's the other alternative is just offend everyone,
which is usually the course we take. But
yeah.
It's we were trying something different
instead of indifference.
In full transparency, we've done gone messed that up.
Yeah, we done messed it up. We done gone messed it up.
And we just offended another demographic.
You threw some... Oh, man, you're killing me. You're killing me. You threw something a little different in here, Mikey. Mikey does a lot of the show notes, and this time he threw in a topic of conversation. And I'm going to go ahead and read this. I'm not going to read it verbatim because there is a little bit of profanity in here, and so I'm going to edit the profanity when applicable and appropriate. I was wondering how your cafes deal with customers being too friendly or outright harassing your baristas. We had an incident at one of our stores where a man has been harassing our young female employees to the point where the manager has had to talk to him. It's escalated, but I don't have all the details at this point other than that the customer is barred from that store. We have more cafes in the area, though. I'm positive this happens at other stores and in other retail environments. Any tips on how to protect yourself, ways to shut down unwanted advances, or ways to protect your employees? Some of our stores are isolated, so we're thinking about getting pepper spray to keep in the back room. Any thoughts would be appreciated. I'm all about providing great customer service, but I am not okay with this stuff.
Yeah, that last word.
Yeah. So where did you get this from, Mike? And who was it? What's the context for this conversation here?
Well, I don't know.
Good, fantastic.
I don't know the context. It was on one of the forums on Facebook. I think it was either Matt Perger's forum or I think it was Matt Perger's forum.
Oh, okay. So it was a Facebook forum.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
You can sign up, request to be a member. They let you in for the most part, and there's a lot of good topics of conversation. But this one caught my eye because it's a little different.
Yeah.
We talk always about what we think good customer service is.
Yes.
We pull from our background in retail, and we pull from our experiences in the cafes, and we talk about it from our perspective and what's good.
Yeah.
But there is another side of it, and I thought, hey, this is interesting that I've definitely experienced.
I was about to say
several different degrees.
As a manager, you have been in this position, this exact position, where you have female employees and you have had customers being very friendly. I don't know. You've probably had outright harassing as well, and you've had to step in to protect your employees. This has happened to you. You've not been the young female employee getting harassed.
No.
But you have been the manager who has had to step in and provide excellent customer service, but draw a line in the sand and say, this far you may come and no further.
You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. So pretty much you're Gandalf the Grey for the rest of this episode. So,
oh, good.
Gandalf.
So what are my thoughts on it?
What are your thoughts here? What caught your eye? Because I've got a lot of thoughts on it.
Well, I'll give you my thoughts, and I'm going to have a few pauses, just throwing it out there, because I'm thinking about my words.
So do you want me to jump in when you pause? Because that's what I normally do.
I'll give you the high sign.
If you pause for air, if you pause for breath, I jump in.
I know.
That's what I do. That's my job, to keep the conversation going.
It's like that, Oh, and then you jump in. And
that's what because they don't want to listen to You listening. You don't want to listen to just
silence.
Yes.
It gives people a thought. I think the analytical side of our audience, I don't know. Anyone that's like me that needs time to process.
There is no one else like you, Gandalf.
That's true. That's true. So just labor with me here. Put it on 2 times when I talk, because that's what I do with other people that are slow.
The 2 times speed.
2 times speed. Anyway, so a couple thoughts. I think one, and I'm not a young girl that has experienced this. I've experienced similar versions, I guess, in a different form, where you have women, sometimes older ladies, sometimes it's just inappropriate interaction. And I would say there is sometimes your own mannerisms, how you go about providing good customer service. Sometimes that can borderline be flirting. And you just got to be aware of that. Because I've seen situations where I've had...
You got to still talking to the mic. You can listen to me. You can look at me, though.
Yeah. I've had situations where... What's up?
There you go. Now you can look at me a little bit.
Like that?
Yeah.
Well, I like to look at the people, too.
Oh.
I'll do my best. Okay, I'll do my best. But let's get going here. So I've had situations where they're trying to offer good customer service, but in order to do that, it's easy to just fall into kind of a flirtatious attitude. Yeah. It's easy to engage, and you can see, especially as a guy, sometimes you can see, okay, they're going to take that the wrong way. Yeah. They're going to think that you like them beyond just offering good service, beyond that simple transaction. And I think those are some things you can do, personally, even if you're a guy or whatever. When you're offering service, there's a level of professionalism that you have to be aware of and maintain.
Yeah.
Because it can be very easy, especially if you have a good customer and there's a good conversation, where it can go beyond just the work environment. And you start expressing personal details, what you like to do, what football team you like, and that's all good stuff. But to somebody that's attracted to you and already maybe in the creeper status, this is good information. They think, hey, they're feeling me. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'm getting all the green lights here.
Exactly.
Permission to say something?
Yeah, no, let's have a conversation.
Okay. Well, I'm sensitive both ways because, one, there are, romances that start this way in the coffee shop.
What?
Barista and customer. It happens.
Teller and customer.
Customer. That happens.
It sure does.
The second thing is you need to be professional. Cat and Cloud, we're talking about external workshops, external training, and they talk about their baristas are going out to give a performance. When you step out there under the bar, kind of like Disney. Yeah. When you go out there, you're in costume, you're there to perform.
There's an expectation.
We don't look at it the same way. It's sometimes when I was a cop, it was a little bit different because I'm wearing a uniform. I'm representing something different. I can't go out there. It's incredibly unprofessional, but many cops do, to go out there and just start flirting with young ladies. And I've had women and men invite me home. And the only way to combat it is to be professional. Yeah. Is to just say, hey, thank you. I'm flattered, but I'm working. And I've told them that. I've told guys that. I'm flattered. Thank you. And there's no need to offend, right? There's no need to say, oh, you're gross, you're disgusting, get away from me. There's no need to offend anyone.
What's wrong with you?
I thank them and I tell them I'm flattered, but, I'm professional, I'm working, blah, blah, blah. And then they ask me what time I get off work. And then, then sometimes you got to say, look, I'm sorry. I can't come. I'm not going to come back when I get off work. You have to be sometimes a little bit more direct. Sometimes I'll let you off with that and you just let them know, okay? But if you're playful and a lot of customers don't know where to stop.
No, they don't.
And especially if they have any type of alcohol in their system. Exactly. And some cafes and retail establishments, people come in. If they're not driving, sometimes they come in and they got a little buzz.
Or if you're open in the evening and they come after dinner.
After dinner, they got a couple drinks in them. There's a balance there. And I know.
Absolutely.
And I'm not trying to say that you can't be flirtatious or fun, but if you are, sometimes it brings in. It sends a message you don't want to send.
Just something to be aware of. And that's where I wanted to start.
Yeah, because I know you're going to go someplace else. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's just, what can you do? Just be aware of your own actions, mannerisms, some of the things you say. Some people will know exactly, hey, they're just working, they're being super friendly. Other people won't. They think, wow, they're into me.
Yeah.
Like you said, green light. So just
I got
be aware
green
of
lights
that.
all the way.
And sometimes the best way to gauge that is to have a spirit of humility and ask somebody else. Or if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you're being a little bit too much, you might not think, I'm just being nice. But when we're looking at you from the outside, it's flirtatious, and you're bringing it on yourself. You know what I mean? So sometimes it takes an outside perspective to bring that to your attention. So just be open to that, both ways, guys and girls. I've seen it either way. Yeah. This has nothing to do with
Oh, I've experienced it. I felt like a piece of meat, and it.
Well. What can you say?
I'm not gonna say alcohol wasn't involved, but I wasn't drinking. Let me just say that I wasn't drinking.
It seems to accelerate or pour a little gasoline on the fire.
It does. It does.
Yeah,
it does. And when you're looking at this red flame of marvelousness, it's challenging to have self-control. So go ahead. But sometimes I think probably where you're going next is sometimes you don't do anything wrong.
Or, it's gone too far.
You're incredibly professional. You say all the right things. You do all the right things. And people latch onto you in an inappropriate manner. And there's nothing you can do about it. Mm-hmm. Or there's nothing you could have done better. There's nothing you could have said better. Or you weren't flirtatious. You were totally professional. You were totally everything on the up and up. Your game is tight. But still, you've got some unbalanced people out there who latch onto you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So then what?
Well, there's no simple answer that will apply to every scenario. But I think there are principles, and you've already started to hint at them. One is, I think if you think about the situation beforehand and have kind of a professional way you're going to approach it, it just helps. Because I think in my experience, when I've had these arise, especially as a young new manager, and you've never had to encounter them, and you've never had kind of a game plan, you just get nervous and you shut down. Now you got to engage somebody, especially if you're somebody that doesn't like conflict to begin with.
Yeah.
Now you got to approach a customer who you don't want to be mad at you for any reason and tell them, hey, your personal, your mannerisms and your words and what you're saying is inappropriate, and I need you to knock it off. Mm-hmm. So if you have some type of pre-game plan ready to go, it can help what you're going to say. And honestly, in my experience, there's no way around. You just have to be direct.
Yeah.
And
simple.
Exactly. Direct and simple. And that could come, okay, I can't think of a saying that would fit all situations, so it's very hard. But you have to head at it. The situations will escalate and get worse if you beat around the bush or if you ignore it.
If you're unclear.
And I've seen that before where girls, they'll either walk away or they're saying, oh, stop, that's, quit being silly, and they'll walk away and they'll get through that day. Well, the next day it gets worse. Yeah. And then they avoid it again.
Exactly.
So simply got to tell them, okay, that's enough.
And that's not a work environment that you want your employees to come to. Where like when this customer comes in, you're trying to flee.
Or they hide.
Like you have to go hide in the back. And that just becomes commonplace. Mm-hmm. No. Totally unacceptable.
Exactly. So unfortunately, sometimes you have to confront it. And in my experiences, sometimes what I try to do is I try to do it so it doesn't embarrass the customer. Because sometimes they have no idea or that they're being too much.
Right.
Or that they're embarrassing this young girl or that. So sometimes I'll try and catch them.
You do want to give them the benefit of the doubt because not everybody's psychotic.
Or they'll be like, I thought she was coming on to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or just like, hey, genuinely, I really thought we had some magic going here. I am totally embarrassed to find out that that's not the case because rejection hurts anytime you feel it.
Yeah.
And I'll be better.
Yeah. So what I've done in the past when it's gotten that bad is I've walked outside with the customer, when they head out.
So you take them out, cash me outside. How about that?
Or if I've seen them coming in from the parking lot, I'll come outside.
You'll run out there.
Usually, it's easier if I go outside.
I got to tell you, I've seen Mike boogie across a bank lobby dressed up, shirt, tie, pants, shoes. He doesn't want to look like he's running, but you can tell he needs to get there in a hurry. It's a sight. It's a wonderful sight. And I'm like, what the heck is that guy doing? sometimes you realize there's more going on than just you at a retail establishment. But go ahead. Sorry, I just had to interject.
Well, I just find I'm more comfortable if I can remove people, if you're not on stage.
Yeah,
and
one-on-one.
Exactly. You don't have other customers in the lobby looking at you or, you know, at the bar. If you're in a cafe scene, you don't have other employees. I'll walk out with them. I got a question for you. Let's, you know, come on outside. I'll walk you out, you know, and you take them out. And you just got to be honest and direct with them. You guys, you know, some of the things, it's making my employee a little uncomfortable. I'm sure you don't mean it.
Yeah.
You know, but I just wanted to bring it to your attention. And you can have a conversation. It's usually how I try to approach it, ask some questions and feel them out. Because you don't want to accuse them of doing anything. Sometimes it's straight up. All right.
Right. You can't come here no more.
It's inappropriate.
That's where it goes. And if they don't.
You can't say that. We don't, you know what I mean? But other times, most of the time, the ones that are hard to deal with aren't that direct. They're more subtle and over time. But yeah, it comes to a point when you just got to say you're making her feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And I understand she's a pretty girl. Yeah. She's attractive.
But she's not attracted to you.
Yes. But that type of talk I can't, you know, have it at my branch. I can't, you know, I can't promote it. Yeah. It's just not professional. We don't allow that.
Tolerate it.
We don't allow our employees to have that relationship with our customers. And so sometimes when you come at it like that and say it's kind of a company rule, then they're like, okay, I got you, you know, and they shut it down.
Yeah.
And then they don't get angry at the employee.
I wonder if if you work for tips, or if tips are a good part of your income, if there's a tremendous amount of pressure,
keep it going, buddy.
Pressure to be more flirtatious, to get better tips.
Absolutely.
Like, because at the bank, you got what you got paid, whether there was a line or no, whether you delivered the wow or not. Ain't nobody giving me a tip.
Yeah, you're not getting a bonus.
You want a tip? Get a real job. Get a real job, bum.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I've never worked directly in an industry where you receive tips.
Yeah.
I guess we've always worked for customer satisfaction and reviews, and you try to avoid the negative ones.
I know my brother was, I think, Josh, if you're listening, close your ears. But I want to say that Josh was a waiter or a busboy at some point when he was a younger man. And I want to say there was a case of harassment. I don't know if it was one of the waitresses or a customer, but took a liking to him and would like try to squeeze his butt as he walked by. Is that too direct? We'll try to grab him.
Yeah, sure.
We'll try to grab him.
I think it's a prevalent issue. Absolutely. No. There's no way around that except confronting it. Hey, you want to come here? You want great service? You want her to be friendly? She'll do that. He'll do that.
We'll do that.
We'll do that. But you can't be touching butts.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a limit. Yes, it seems flirtatious, but it's just friendly. I'm sure restaurants they could probably give you far more advice.
At least the barista gets to hide behind the bar a little bit. There's a little bit of a barrier.
You got to duck and run.
Yeah.
But bottom line for me is I've seen it fail is when you either don't have a supervisor or manager, someone there that can be the bad guy, so to speak, if need be.
Yeah.
Be the one that's like, okay, I got to confront this. We'll go talk. Let's go outside. Let's walk to your car.
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally had customers yelling at because they were now mad, which is a different scenario. But I think sometimes they get mad when months go by and their affections are not reciprocated.
Yeah.
So then it changes to hostility.
Anger.
It does. Yeah. And they get frustrated.
That same passion that was raging for love is now raging for hatred. So the same strong emotions.
That counter, and I'm glad you brought that up, is a barrier, which is good. It can be a barrier. It can feel like, protection for the barista, for the teller, for whatever scenario. As a manager, though, and if you're trying to, in my experience, disengage the situation or deflate the scenario or calm the customer down, you want to come around that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to come to their side.
Yes.
And then you don't want...
There's nothing between us. If you want to throw down, we go right now. That's what it is. Well, step to me, and it's gonna be raw.
That's your sheriff perspective.
No. It's real. It's real.
But you're absolutely right. It removes that barrier.
No barrier between the two of us.
And it's also, I'm going to come on your level. We're going to have a conversation. Yeah. And at that point, you want a one-on-one conversation.
Is this what you want to do? Is this what you want to do?
You want the customer that they had a problem with.
We on camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this what you want to do?
Yeah, well, that's easier to do when you've got some girth and some size to you. But when your customer is 6'4", 300, that's harder harder to feel that way. But and then when you take over, you want your employees to know step down, because the worst thing not the worst, but one of the worst situations is when you have two employees going at a customer, right? Yeah. Both trying to talk to them, and you're either at a 90-degree angle or 100, and they're moving their head back and forth trying to.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
Now they're defensive. Yeah. Now you've put them in a fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And that's not good either. So
right, no, it's right here. Come talk to me.
Let's go. Come on. Come around the counter. Pull them out of the line. Pull them to the side. Yeah. Say, let's just chat about it. Or come sit in my office if you have an office. Come sit at the desk. Let's talk about it.
I like that.
Bring them out of the situation. Cool them off.
Step into this. We have a cage right here. We have an MMA cage here off on the left. Would you like to step into this real quick? It's got a padded floor.
We've got a vault. We've got a vault with a door. Two go in, one come out.
Come step into the vault with me for a moment here.
But I see, as I'm talking about these scenarios that I've practiced from experience, you've done on a much more direct and intense level. It's the same thing, I think, with good, when you're with the public, when you're policing the public.
If you can use your mouth to de-escalate.
Right. That's what you want. That's what you want.
That's what you want. Yeah. And sometimes you can't. So, but yeah, you can absolutely bar people from coming in and say, hey, you may come here, but this, if tellers, it's a little bit different because each teller has a station. You can come here, but you may not go, she may not wait on you.
Sure. Yeah.
You can go to any of our other tellers.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? Obviously, it's just the uniform that does it for you. You cannot come here. Mm-hmm. It's a retail establishment, unlike law enforcement, where you can't say, "Well, I'm not going to respond to that call for service."
We're not coming to your house anymore. Do whatever you want.
Right.
You're on your own
because you keep flirting. Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. So I think
a little different
when these people know that there's someone there, whether it's a manager, and I've seen
that will hold them to account.
Exactly. That there's someone there. There's a mother hen. There's the rooster. I wanted to say mother hen because I wanted to say I've seen scenarios where I've had managers that are women that have shut this down so brilliantly. Dang, I almost made it brilliantly.
Yeah, a lot of times they do it better than us guys do.
Absolutely. Well,
because we feel protective.
Exactly.
We're like, whoa, catch me outside, homie. You ain't talking to my girl like that. Like these are my daughters.
What's wrong with you?
You know what I'm saying? What is wrong with you?
Absolutely.
And I think mother hen sometimes is a little more sensitive and just has better words to use.
Exactly. And I think sometimes if it's a male customer, they can, I don't know, they're not as, they don't get as defensive right away.
Yeah.
As they see another man step up. So that's a dynamic that plays into it. It varies from situation to situation. But I think bottom line is it has to be engaged. And we probably talked about this way too long. But it is a real, and then he gets into, okay, now personal safety, because that goes beyond.
I'll get on that.
Okay, because there is.
Yeah, he closes off by like, I'm all about providing great customer service, like as if you had to tolerate that to provide great customer service. Let me just emphasize, you do not. That is not customer service. That is, we're encroaching upon, illegal activity, harassment, fraternization. That's not customer service. That's gone beyond, all right? That's gone beyond customer service. So, the last little topic I wanted to talk about is that some of our stores are isolated, so we're thinking about getting pepper spray to keep in the back room. Okay, a couple different thoughts here. And I don't want to go off too much because I could probably do a whole hour just on this alone.
So it escalates, is what he's worried about.
It escalates. Now you're going to leave, go get pepper spray, and then come back.
And spray it in a confined space.
Into a customer's face. Okay. So you're going to have a difficult time. Anytime you go to retrieve a weapon for self-defense, you are going to have a difficult time explaining why you came back and why the threat was still required you to act.
Hang tight for a minute. Hold on.
Hold on a second. Let me go grab my strap. And then I'll be back. That's my first problem, is that you're no longer in danger. If you can freely leave, your personal safety is no longer in danger. Now what are you protecting? Are you protecting loss of property value, right? If this dude wrecking your bar? Because most companies will say, if he starts destroying an espresso machine, or even at the bank, if he wants money, you give him what you You follow the directions.
Don't be the hero.
Do not be the hero. You don't need to come across the bar. You don't need to jump kick him in the face. If in a bank robbery, if he says, put the money, but
what are you doing? That's a slayer, bro. No.
Put your money in this bag. You put the money in the bag. Yeah. This is a Sinesso MVP Hydra. Are you kidding me? This is a $30,000 machine. You ain't doing nothing. Get the pepper spray, Timmy. Get the pepper spray.
No, you could be like, oh, it's just something decent. Do whatever you want.
Something decent.
Yeah.
Just something decent.
I got 6 more in the bag.
Just take it. Just take it. But so that's problem number one. If you're able to remove yourself from a situation, from something that is, a potentially volatile, potentially hostile, potentially violent situation, to go get a weapon and then come back, you're going to have a difficult time justifying that.
Yeah. And I suppose there could be other employees there that see it escalating and they go get it. But
possibly.
Still.
Why did you not go call the cops, call 911, something other than going and retrieving a weapon? Secondly, pepper spray is not the answer to your fight questions or concerns. To give some of your employees access to a weapon that they have not been trained with or that they have not trained on, they are not prepared to engage an enemy with, let me tell you, it is a bad idea. Do not introduce weapons into the scenario that you are not ultimately comfortable with, immensely comfortable with. You need to know everything that weapon can do. You need to have practiced with it, inert. You need to have practiced drawing it, engaging the enemy with it, and then, putting it back away. What's your next plan? What's your next step? You're going to stand there, spray him, and then what?
Then what?
Now what?
Hey, kick him in the...
Not across the bar, I'm not. Am I going to ninja kick him in the face?
Ninja kick him.
So,
yes.
So do not, I would caution you, do not. If your stores are isolated and you are concerned for your employees' safety in those isolated locations, there's a couple different options you have. One of them is to not put a store in an isolated location. Number 2, do not put employees there for whose safety you fear.
Especially
look, I'm just going to keep it real.
No solo.
If you've got a 17-year-old girl and she's 5 foot nothing and barely 100 pounds, and you've got her working at 2 a.m. on some street flying solo in a cafe, and you're concerned for her safety, well, you know what? Discrimination kind of be danged. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Don't put her in a situation where you feel vulnerable. Whereas if you have a dude that's 6'7" and 280 pounds, and he grew up a block away, and it's a rough neighborhood, and you think he can handle himself, you go to home, you can sleep at night knowing he's going to handle it. Well, then so be it.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that forget about
you have to exercise some judgment.
Exercise some judgment and follow your gut. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
And I think one way to look at this is your own children. Would you want your own daughter working there doing that thing?
Your daughter out there?
I mean, not that you want your son, but you just know. I think there
put your
is
son out there?
A deterrent, right? When you see, a
big yoked up dude.
Yeah,
I don't know, but to some people,
not even big. Just
and you know what? You can play devil's advocate. You can say, well, he presents a challenge to me. I want to accept that challenge. She doesn't present a challenge to me. I don't want to accept that. Yeah. Whatever. I'm just going to do what I'm just going to go and have my coffee, whatever. So those are the third thing that I want to bring up is if you look, coffee and cops go together. So if you want to develop a positive working relationship with your local law enforcement, I would highly encourage it. I would highly encourage you as cafes to host Coffee with a Cop. I would encourage you to host National Night Out. I would encourage you to bring these types of situations to law enforcement's attention sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Let them know that there is a problem, has been a problem, or just start developing relationships so that when it does escalate, you have a context from which to operate, a positive context, not a hostile context.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a great point. And I think in some situations, simply just saying, if you're not going to leave, we're calling the cops. And someone's got the phone, they're ready. I've seen that in my situation at the bank where you're worried about robberies, you're worried about people coming in, getting upset or whatever. They'll leave. I've had people say, fine, call them. And we call them. And we stand there. And the cops show up. And then they have it out in the parking lot. And we you know what I mean? And we
or
shake hands and go our way or whatever.
We ask you to come in. Or we ask you to come out. You don't leave. We gaffle you up and drag you out.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's no way to completely avoid risk.
Exactly.
We live in this world. It's a fallen world. There's evil in this world. There's bad actors. There's people that want to hurt other people. And you can't avoid that.
No matter how professional you are, no matter how nice you are, no matter how big, strong, masculine,
no matter if you've
armed,
got nunchuck
whatever.
skills, bow hunting skills,
it don't matter. It don't matter.
Bad
things can happen.
I think as a cafe owner, as a manager, just have a plan. Number one, don't worry about the cash. Don't worry about the property. We have insurance. Let it go. Let it go if it gets that bad. Your safety is foremost. If you can leave, if the store is unattended, you have to run out, but you think you need to do that, and you leave this, that's fine.
Yeah. Now, here's another thing, though, Mike. You and I have not talked about this. We are in Arizona.
What?
Yes, we're in Arizona, and it's a very pro-gun state. Would you allow your employees in a cafe to open carry?
Like while they're working bar?
While they're working bar. Be strapped up. Because to me, I'm like, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, if it's part of your cowboy ensemble, like if that's how you dress, I think that would be very cool.
It's the Orange Cactus way.
It's the Orange Cactus way. In fact, I would not turn down an employee that wants to open carry if I'm confident in their weapon.
That would be my
skills.
key. I would probably, because I would look at it myself. If I were to open carry, I would want to be confident in my skills to use that weapon.
Yeah.
And I think we could set a certain standard in having a CCW or having a certain class, something as, okay, no problem. Here's the gauge. Have you got your permit? Have you got the test? Even though you don't need it,
you are doing.
It's a way that we can kind of find out if you know a little bit.
Or we should go shooting with them.
Or we go shooting with them. But
paper targets are different than human targets, I got to tell you.
Boy, you cannot carry.
No, you can't carry that gun. You can't even
give
shoot
it to me right now.
Look, I'm going to put the target up on the wall inside the cafe. If I see that thing, your target is going up on the wall.
Yeah.
Now, there is zero confidence in your abilities. Now, you work on it. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely. So I think it would be rare because I think who wants to carry while they're hustling. I don't know.
Well, there's some guys.
There's some that might, but
they carry everywhere they go.
Sure.
And I think, or do we have a crowd pleaser underneath the bar? Kind of like in the old school, there's the bar scene in the Westerns where you got the mirror, right? The mirror along behind the bar. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your bartender with his bow tie, the white shirt, and the little sleeve crimpers, and he's got a shotgun up underneath.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that came to mind when I read this. I was like, well, this is a simple solution. Just hire a bunch of dudes, let them open carry, problem solved.
There you go.
I don't know if anybody's coming into that cafe.
I've seen an old teller station from Arizona, from one of the banks here in Prescott, and underneath the counter mounted was a shotgun pointed at the customer. So all they had to do was pull the trigger, and it would shoot right through the counter and just blast them.
Yeah.
That unsatisfied customer.
Before insurance.
Boom.
You ain't robbing this.
He was coming on to me. Well, what do you want me to do?
I wanted you to shoot him. Absolutely.
It's inappropriate.
That's exactly what I wanted you to do. That was the level of force I thought was necessary.
So I don't think it's as clear as just saying no weapons allowed. No weapons allowed. I don't like that answer. I think
individual.
I think if you're going to allow it, you have to have a set of standards that applies to everybody.
Yeah.
And I think it's got to be, it's different for different places of the country. Like you said, we're in Arizona, we're in Prescott. You walk downtown, you'll see a lot of people carrying.
It's a
common thing.
State.
So to go ahead and say, we don't allow it. And in fact, we're going to put a sign on our front door that says, customers, you're not allowed to show up with one. Here, that wouldn't go over so well.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just different.
And those signs are either ignored or they turn business away.
Yeah, exactly. So, or you get customers that love to test it. What are they going to do? Let's find out. Let's stroll in there with the biggest, sidearm I've got. So anyway, weapons, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just stick with the throwing stars is
ninja
what I
stars.
say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
why not put ninja stars underneath the barista station?
And then as soon as someone walks in, you just throw it right next to the door frame, right by their face.
So get your mind right. Get your mind right.
I see you.
I see you.
You sure you want to take another
I see you. All right. So, wow, we went 40 minutes on that.
This was an opening. I meant like, hey, little chitty chat about
you failed.
Safety.
You failed that. You failed that, Mikey, severely. I don't even I want to do this. Almost like we have enough material here for 2 shows, 3 shows.
We probably do.
So, Manny G recommends. He recommends. Oh, I need to give a little pause.
Manny G recommends.
All right. Manny G recommends checking out competition brew winners' recipes. He thinks that trying out Trying out new recipes on your same devices is better than just collecting new gadgets.
Yeah.
So master the ones that you have. There's a lot out there. Watch the videos.
Yeah.
Watch what people are doing with the V60, with the Bonavita, with the Beehive, the Bon Mac, what people are doing with the Kalita, what people are doing with the AeroPress. Before you just go through and say, hey, I'm just going to go get more and more and more and more gadgets.
New latest
the
brewer.
latest and greatest.
Yeah. Sure.
Play around with it a little bit. Watch and see what the pros are doing. Try their recipes and see if you like it or not.
I think it's a great tip because, in our consumerist mind, in our consumer society, it's easy to just say we want the new, latest, greatest. You know what I mean? So when you've already got an excellent brewer, try it with a divot, ghostly. Try it with a flat bottom.
Yeah.
Try it. There's many different ways. I'd say one thing I enjoy doing, that we enjoy doing, is testing the, I don't know if you want to call them myths, or testing the status quo. Oh, you never want water to hit the filter. Oh, you never want to drink coffee right off roast. Or, you know what I mean? Testing, because I think...
all the conventional wisdom, we just don't...
We want to taste it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
I see where they're coming from.
And you know what? Some coffees are great right off the roast.
I fully agree.
Some coffees...
Not so much. Or some are great,
give them a couple days.
But not with cream.
Yeah.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? There's places that wait a month before they even open their coffee up to start brewing because they think the flavors, you know what I mean? So there's different...
Time to settle and rest.
How would they know that unless they tried
cultivate.
It? Other people would say, no, after 3 weeks, it's dead. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So
I think you just got to trial and error. And one of the ways you can do is learn from the pros by the recipes that they use and that they put out.
Which
there.
reminds me, we saw a brief clip of Tetsu.
What is it, Tetsu or Tatsu? I think it's Tetsu. He's awesome.
The brewers.
He's a Japanese Brewers Cup champ.
Yeah.
And he has a smoking hot V60 recipe that is out there that you can use.
And I use a variation of it.
It's on YouTube. And then he also has
he's got this crazy,
an absolutely insane AeroPress recipe.
It's good stuff. I was watching it, and you don't know what he's doing at first.
What are you doing, Tetsu?
No way.
But you're like, he's a pro. So we might as well just watch and see how this thing ends.
It's good stuff.
And he uses, let's just say that
there's 2 chambers in your AeroPress.
There's 2 chambers in your AeroPress.
And both can be used to brew.
Coffee.
I think the premise behind
Tetsu
it.
does.
Check it out. Maybe we'll link to it if you can find it.
We'll link to them in the show notes, yeah. We'll link to a couple different videos, just videos for you to look at and check some brew guides.
Kind of made sense when, if you follow Socratic Coffee, there's this place down in Australia. They do all these experiments.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
It's great stuff. They have been putting some charts up there that show the lower the brew mass, meaning, in my understanding, the less you brew, the greater the extraction.
Okay.
So if you apply that thought, that principle to the way Tetsu, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, is working, he's brewing smaller amounts and then putting them together at the end.
Combining them at
so
the
he's
end.
getting, greater extraction in these 2 small amounts and then putting them together.
Yeah, but then that would prove the pour over is better than the batch brewer, and we know that that's not the case. Batch brewers are just as good as anything you can do.
I don't know.
I've heard it on the podcast.
I've heard it. But some of these numbers that Socratic is putting out there is maybe speaking differently.
Numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie.
Unless there's a limit to it or if it's still scalable. I don't know.
There's always a point of diminishing returns. Or there's always somewhere. And each coffee, I think, is the same. You have to dial it in. What temperature for that coffee? Yeah. What device for that coffee? How big a batch for that coffee?
Sure. And then you got brew strength, which is personal for each person.
How big a brew strength for that coffee?
Personal for each person, Jake. There you go.
Huh.
It's your brew tip of the week. The brew strength is personal.
That is great. That is a great brew tip of the week.
Try different brew strengths. Go down to 10 to 1, go up to 20 to 1.
Your brew strength is personal. Your personal strength is personal.
There you go. Some would say if you're going with a fluty,
yeah,
fruity or floral.
Fruity or floral, you want to get it a 15 to 1 or lower?
I think we should rock that term. That's a little fluty.
That's a little fluty.
Anyway.
That's fruity and
some
floral.
Would say they like those ones more around the 20 to 1 to make it more tea-like,
Huh.
And then you go with, but it's personal.
Yeah.
It's personal for that person.
My personal level is personal for me because I'm a person.
If you want a little more floral to the face, maybe drop it down.
Blueberries to the face. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm
looking for that blueberries to the face. You know what else I'm looking for?
What's that?
I am looking at Bizzy coffee.
Ooh, I forgot about Bizzy.
So this is what I'm going to do. I've got ice water because I put 3 pieces of ice. I'm just going to drink the water out.
45 minutes ago. We can drink the water?
I've got a little bit of ice left in there. And I'm going to take this Bizzy and I'm going to try it. Now, Ryan Fisher, thank you, hooked us up with this Bizzy.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan.
This coffee shot is equal to 2 shots of espresso.
Which?
To get busy, sip, shoot, or add to 6 ounces of water. So here's the deal.
What's the deal?
I ordered Bizzy. They took my money. They didn't give me any coffee.
It's a great story.
And then I really feel like I put them all on blast because the customer service wasn't great. And I had this big old thing go back and listen to the episode. But anyways, it was not a great glowing review.
He's still bitter.
And Ryan still went out and bought it. He was like, you know what? I heard you guys talk about it. I wanted to try it. It just goes to show you when you're transparent about something, people relate to it. So thank you, Ryan. Thank you for trying it. Ryan wasn't a huge fan, but it's okay. And he's like, I wanted you guys to be able to try it. So I sent it to you. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to try it right now. Bizzy. It says at the top, black coffee.
Black. Okay.
Are you offended?
No.
All right. So these little bottles, they look kind of like 5-hour energy bottles.
They do.
A little bit bigger.
The first thing I noticed, not the first thing, but one of the things I noticed that's interesting, you already said it's 2 shots of espresso. It says 1 coffee shot of Bizzy equals 2 shots of espresso, which it's 2.
It smells like that shot.
2 fluid ounces.
That shot's coffee.
Yeah. But what's interesting is it says the caffeine content is 130 to 150 milligrams, which is a lot because I don't think a single shot of espresso is quite that high. 70? I think it's lower. I think it's more around 50 or 40.
And this is cold brew.
So this is a little more concentrate.
It's just cold brew concentrate is what it is. Do we want to shoot it? I poured it. I don't know if I want to shoot it. I poured it in my glass, and I'm thinking
too much caffeine for me.
I'm thinking like, man, I don't know if I should shoot this or not.
I don't know. Are we drinking it neat on the rocks? Is this a dirty glass? You drank the whole thing?
It tastes just like Shots coffee.
Shots?
Yeah.
What was Shots again? We had Shots.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I got to tell you, I was expecting it to be a lot nastier just because I don't like Bizzy. You know what I mean? I felt like they did me dirty. But it's good. Thank you, Ryan. Yeah,
well,
I think you, Bizzy.
I don't know if that's that I was expecting it to be horrible.
Well, I was expecting it to be super nasty, and it's not that bad.
It's definitely
cold brew. You can tell.
It's cold brew, but it's concentrated. It's very
strong.
Very strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I would recommend watering it down and adding a little vanilla and a little cream and a little sugar.
It says to get busy, sip, shoot, or add to 6 ounces of water.
I shot it.
We probably shouldn't have drank the water. Would have been probably good mix.
Yeah, probably.
Serve chilled and get busy.
Get busy. The slogan, right? The marketing, the branding is cool. The Bizzy, you know what I mean? It's cool. But
yeah, cold brewed, ethically sourced, BPA free.
That's the plastic, not the coffee.
Oh, good. So the coffee could have BPA.
It could.
And 130 to 150 milligrams of caffeine. They're out of St. Paul,
I haven't eaten
Minnesota.
Today.
Certified organic.
I'm going to be buzzing with the King Cup and the Bizzy. We're going to get busy.
Oh, look, it says here their hashtag is busy, not busy.
Busy, not busy?
Mm-hmm.
Hashtag busy, not busy. Should we hashtag them in this episode?
Busy, not busy. So I think to analyze the brand, the marketing behind it, it's
cute.
It's meant to be a pick-me-up. It's meant to compete with 5 Hour Energy, but in the coffee flavor
coffee space.
Yeah. And I think
take advantage of
USDA organic.
the profit. I mean, look,
It's a little strong for me straight up.
it's cheaper
It's cheaper?
to buy small bottles than big bottles.
Yeah. So like little alcohol bottles.
So you
that
do
get on the plane.
concentrate. You know what I mean? You do concentrate, and it's easier to keep. It's easier to sell. It's cheaper to ship because it's not watered down.
Yeah.
So you can see the benefits there as far as the business model goes. I just don't know if the flavor is all that I like. When I put my name on it, Orange Cactus Coffee on it, I want the flavor to be wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like if you pick up an Orange Cactus Coffee bottle, I want you to be like, wow, this is awesome. You got to try it. In fact, I'm going to go buy another one so I can take it home to the missus. This is like I threw it in my purse. It's all about convenience, saving you time, whatever. I didn't have time for whatever today. I'm just going to take a Bizzy, throw it in the bag, and just kill it if I need it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I see it as well.
But that's not Orange Cactus Coffee, really.
Easy to keep at work, especially if freezer space or fridge space is at a premium.
Yeah,
which
freezer
a lot
space.
Yeah, don't freeze. Well, you could freeze them.
You could freeze it, but you can't drink it. You can't shoot it frozen.
Yeah, but if you froze it,
Yeah.
you might be able to take it with you for a couple hours and let it thaw out.
That's true.
And
then kill it.
But I'm just
and then
saying,
get busy.
it's easier to keep, takes up less
Not
space.
in Phoenix in the summer, not for a couple hours.
No,
you might be able to freeze it and let it
10
thaw
minutes.
for 15 minutes and then drink it.
Walk around with a couple Bizzies in your pocket.
Or just get hot shots, because if you take Bizzy and you set it out, oh man, you know what? I don't like it lukewarm. I either like it really cold or really hot. So, okay, it's melted. I'm just going to set it right here by the window. About 15 minutes, it's a hot shot.
Boom. We're coming in at 170 degrees.
Can I get this with hot shots? Speaking of hot shots.
Hot shots.
Coffee experience.
Coffee experience.
Do we have time for this? Because I know this one's going to be good.
You know what? We don't have time for the coffee experience, the Great Milk Experiment, or our coffee legend.
One show a week. We've been told.
Wow.
Ghostly said, "Don't worry about the time." What are we at? We're a little long. We talked way too much about personal safety.
So here's the deal. Here's why I need to cut it off now.
Why didn't you cut it off now?
Is because I changed the settings on our Libsyn account. I mean, I guess I could. I
don't know.
saved $10 to go from 800 minutes to 600 minutes, and I see what you're saying. We're right at the limit. I'd have to go pay an extra $10
and change it all back.
And change it back. It's easy. Fine. We'll go. We'll pay an extra $10 for you guys. I love you guys. All right, we'll just do it.
We don't have to do it. It's okay.
No, you just talked me into it. Now you're going to talk me out of it?
No, we just got to find $10. So if anyone's got $10, yeah,
I got $10.
I got $10 for you.
Oh,
do you take Bitcoin?
Not from Coinbase. I hear the line is long.
Oh, I know. I got to get that out of there. By the way, shout out to the crypto community.
Shout outs. Okay, so coffee experience. Girona Cafe. So, anyways, I went to Girona. Girona. It's in Cottonwood.
Is that like that song?
My Girona. Yes, I think that's exactly what they say.
That's what I thought.
So I went to Cottonwood for a coaching clinic, and I'd never been there before, and I'm checking out these different cafes. One of them that I wanted to check closed at 1, and the clinic was over at 1.
Okay.
The next cafe.
Can't make that one.
I went to check it, and it was like inside a hospital, but you couldn't tell from their web presence that it's inside a hospital because we drove by the front of the hospital, and Sarah's like arrived at location, and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, it's in the hospital. So we kept driving. So the third cafe we wanted to go to is finally Girona, and the first thing that I notice is there's a sign outside that offers alcohol, like new
Nice.
to the menu.
Caffeinated and
I can't even talk about this.
intoxicated.
Right now. We're going to talk about this for an hour. Okay, so
Oh, no.
So what
happened?
First thing I noticed is they're introducing alcohol, and I'm like, why are they introducing alcohol? And I was like, either one, they're going to stay open later, and they're going to, or
bringing a different crowd. Sure.
two, the coffee's bad.
Yeah, they need something.
Just mix booze with it. Everything's better. You mix booze with it, everything is.
You don't
great.
even care.
No, you don't care. I'm just looking for the booze. So I walk in, and they've got kind of a weird menu. They've got some, mixed, blended stuff, and I step up to the counter and I start talking a little bit, And
I
asked like one or two questions about the coffee, and then she just unloads on me. Just unloads.
Not in the good way. Not in, I'm so excited to tell you about this single origin we have this week. It was roasted just yesterday. Or not in that sense.
People don't like our coffee. The tourists come in and they think they don't like the way that Americans make coffee. They say it's too much milk. They like the sizes are too big. And we're getting a lot of people, tourists, that don't like our coffee. And then also people from the big cities, and they come from the coast, and it's just different than they drink it, and they just don't like it. And I said, well, I don't want to buy any more coffee. I don't want to buy coffee now. No, I didn't say that. But
well, that's what it makes you feel.
It makes you feel. And I was like,
good.
Okay,
I'm glad I'm here.
And I was like, well, can you do espresso? Can you put it in one of your demi-tasses for me?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I can do that. And then I was like, okay, I'll take one of those and I'll take a hot mocha. But this conversation literally took 5 minutes. We're talking about the different, and I asked her, well, what do you do? And I asked a couple questions, and when it became apparent that she thought the problem was that Europeans don't like the large sizes of lattes and mochas and things like that. When she thought that was the problem, I realized that, okay, I can't help you. But in the back of my mind, I was like, what should I do? I wanted to give them, this is what we need. We need to talk to Prescott Coffee Roasters. We really do. Because I want to be able to take their business card and put it in their hand. And I don't know.
Point them in the right direction.
Is Rich going to go to Cottonwood to fix them?
I don't know.
I don't know, but we should ask him. Because
That's
I was
within
like,
his footprint.
The second thing was, I looked over at the espresso machine. It was a nice La Marzocca. I don't know enough about espresso to go walk around the bar and pull a decent shot for him and be like, this is what you're supposed to do.
You need decent coffee to start.
You need decent coffee, yeah. So they didn't have decent coffee. They had
Filtered
a decent
water.
espresso machine. And I asked for the demi-tasse, and she said, oh, no problem.
What's that?
And I'm watching, and this girl.
So there were two baristas.
No, well, one at the counter,
employees.
one at the barista. She fills the demi-tasse up
Just fill it up.
to the top.
Okay. That's what the recipe
And then she
calls
set
for.
it down, and then she goes over and talks to the girl that that took my order. She's like, what is this one? She's like, oh, it's a mocha. She's like, I don't know how to make that. At that point, I wanted to slide into the conversation and say, girl, you don't know how to make this drink. You don't know how to pull a shot of espresso.
It's not good.
Here's the problem. It's not Americanized versions of coffee. It's your coffee is not good.
Yeah.
I couldn't drink it. I took a sip of the espresso.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was blazing hot. I just dumped it. Should I have got my money back? Would you have gone and got your money back, or would you just chalked it up and said, well, it's show content, so we're good to go?
No.
But not everybody's running a show. They want to know what to do in this scenario. But so
I think you have every right to.
She didn't pull two shots. She turned the machine on, filled the cup up all the way, and then set it out. I got to give my man his money's worth. And then the other gal came and made the mocha for me, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I couldn't finish it.
Wasn't any good.
Yeah.
No, I think as a regular customer, consumer, you have every right to say, I'm sorry, I did not enjoy this. It was not very good. And I would hope that the employees, as an extension of the business and the business owner, would say, that's horrible. I'm sorry you had a bad experience. Let me refund you.
Either let me remake it for you or refund it.
Let me make it right.
But if they look at me and they look at the drink and then they say they don't know what's wrong with it, maybe a refund is just in order.
They're not going to satisfy. You must be from the coast or from Europe, buddy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're just not, you're not from around here.
I wanted to ask him, what did you put in and what did you pull out of this?
Yeah.
You don't just fill it up.
And
that's not my spot. I didn't feel confident enough to do it in a gracious way, but I wanted to help. I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to just bash him on this podcast.
Yeah, give them a bad review and check out.
I don't want to do that. I want to help them do better, but I lack a little bit of confidence in my own abilities, not in my taste buds, but my abilities. But at the same time, I don't know how to bring that up or how to help them.
It's not going to be able to come up all the time, and I think the only way to go about it is just to be
coming
honest.
up a lot more frequently than not.
No. What I'm saying is, to me, I look for natural interactions. Like if there's opportunity. Like if you were sitting there and she came over, how was your coffee? Well, if I can be honest with you, it wasn't very good. That I will take those opportunities.
And then, but see,
I won't go out of my way and say, "Hey, can you come over here? I got to talk to you." Those are different.
You're so much better at that than I am, Mike, because you would say, to be honest with you, it wasn't very good. And then you would just let that sit there. and then you would read them, you'd wait for their reaction, and then you would respond accordingly. I don't do that. I'd say, to be honest with you, it wasn't very good. And then I launch into this long 5-minute diatribe.
Which each scenario or situation is different. But I find that usually people, if you come at it with kind of, humility, saying, I'm not sure how to do it better myself, and I'm not an expert, but I'm just letting you know as a customer, I wouldn't buy this again.
I'm an expert consumer, and I ain't never coming back here. In fact, I'm going to go on Yelp and Travelocity and all the places that you like, and I'm going to bash you guys because this is terrible.
And then that would be nice at that point, too, to say, here's someone that we know does great, roasts great coffee, is a great teacher.
And will help fix your business.
I see, that would be nice because whenever you bring up a problem, whether it's at the workplace or in your personal life, it's always nice to also offer the solution.
Right.
Or a solution or an option.
Yeah.
I think that's always appropriate instead of just being like, this is bad. I don't know. You got to fix it. Okay. Well, obviously, from the interactions, the dialogue you've already had, they don't know how.
Right. They don't know how to fix it, but they acknowledge fully that there is
an issue,
a problem.
Yeah.
They've got a problem. People don't like their coffee.
But
so what's the solution? Add alcohol.
They add alcohol.
Done deal.
Well, it's because they've classified the problem as it's not us, it's them.
Right.
It's the people from the coast. It's the people from Europe. Right?
Yes.
No, that's not the problem.
The problem is your coffee is horrible.
Now, we understand not every cafe is going to appeal to every person, every coffee drinker.
But you're not making the drink correctly.
But if you're a local shop, but you find your greatest demographic are tourists, you probably should shift because you want to survive, right? You want to make some money.
Maybe.
Or you just throw a batch brewer for the locals that like the burnt it stuff.
Maybe.
And then you bring the SOs in for the tourists.
You do something.
You got to do something.
You got to do something.
But yeah. Or you introduce alcohol.
Or you introduce alcohol into it. Just throw some booze in there. That would be good to go.
Just booze it up. Yeah, that's no, sir. That's the one that's not pure. That's not neat. Or actually, it is neat. It's ultra neat. What do they say? What is the bar term?
Neat.
Neat.
Just without anything in it, like just your straight up shots of alcohol or whatever, or bourbon or something.
That batch, that carafe actually is just straight bourbon.
Yeah.
No alcohol.
That's whiskey.
We put it in because it fits the.
That's barrel aged whiskey.
It's not
with a little bit of coffee in it.
Yeah,
you can get a little coffee flavored whiskey.
To preference. So that's too bad, though. It's too bad.
Yeah.
So you won't.
Maybe
be
it was
back.
the milk.
Oh, could have been the milk.
Could have been the milk.
We know that has a big impact on the.
So I wanted to find out. Does milk make a difference? Can you taste the difference in milk?
Yeah, so let me tell this story because I think it'll be
Go
more
tell
enjoyable.
the story. Tell the story, Mike.
So, and you can speak to why you did this. So I show up one day, come to Jake's house. I think we were going to shoot a video, do a podcast. Who knows? The usual. And he's like, wait, just 1 minute. I want you to do something. So I come downstairs.
It was totally surprised, wasn't it?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I walk upstairs on the counter in front of me.
Hoping that Jake still has all his clothes on when I get back upstairs. No, I'm not filming this again.
I asked him, I think, what do you want to do? Oh, you'll see. Just come back up.
Trust me.
Yeah. Come back upstairs. There's 3 glasses on the counter, each filled or half filled with milk. He's like, drink them. Just drink the 3 glasses of milk right now. Just drink them. Yep.
And I had a glass of water so you could...
so I can cleanse the palate.
Cleanse your palate.
Yeah, just tell me if you can taste a difference between these 3 milks.
Yeah.
Not a problem. I love milk.
Yeah.
I really do.
I love milk.
So I began a somewhat, at first, awkward taste testing of milk. And I applied the same principles I would to coffee, trying to slurp it and aerate the palate and do all that, which is weird with milk. But
that's why we didn't film it.
At least in I've never done that before. So I went through and I picked my favorite, my second favorite, and my least favorite, which then you kind of explained to me, hey, I wanted to see if buying the high quality, organic only, double the price milk actually tastes better. Can you tell? And you not only did it with me, you did it with your family, you did it with yourself. You've had many people try this.
Yes.
And so that was my perspective. So it was a bit odd at first, but then I was into it because I'm like, let's find out.
Let's find out.
Do we need to be dropping $6 a gallon on this milk?
Well, here's the deal as well. If you're going to open a cafe...
It's a big expense.
It's a big expense. And if you can partner with a local dairy... A local dairy.
Yeah,
you can visit the farm, locally sourced, organic. There are 2 local dairy farms down in Phoenix.
Yeah.
and I bought both of them. One's more expensive than the other, but they're all more expensive than the grocery store brand.
Yeah.
Where does the grocery store brand get their milk from? I don't know. I don't know where they get their brand name, their grocery brand name from, but it's probably someplace local. It's probably the same spot. I don't know.
They could in some situations, yeah.
But right, we think of it as better.
Yeah.
If I get it from a local dairy, and I can go pet the cows there and everything, they're organic and they're grass fed and they're whatever.
Yeah.
The milk has got to be better.
You would hope you could taste a difference.
You'd hope you could taste a difference
Now,
if you're spending more than twice the price instead of just telling your employees, hey, run to the grocery store. We're getting low on milk. Run to the grocery store, go get 5 gallons and come back.
Yeah.
Or Costco or Fry's or Sam's Club, wherever you shop at.
Sure.
It's got to be better, right? The fancy milk has got to be better.
Now, it could be chemically speaking, right? What it's made of, what's not in it, or what it could be pure. I don't know. That's one of the claims that they say it's healthier because it's pure. It doesn't have anything introduced to it.
Yeah, but the grocery store milk says make the exact same claims.
So they do, just in a different way. They don't have the big USDA organic, or all of them now say no RSBT added
RBST,
or RBST,
no RBST
fed
added.
cows or whatever. So anyway, we want to just strictly speaking on taste.
On taste. Because really, that's what we're interested in. I mean, if you want to consume the healthiest stuff, the bestest stuff for you.
Did you say bestest?
Bestest stuff for you. You're not always going to go with what tastes the best.
Yeah, I think so.
Because look.
Seaweed.
Look, if I offer you lemon loaf or asparagus.
Or a strip of seaweed.
Yeah. You might actually go for the seaweed or the asparagus when you really want the lemon loaf.
Yep.
But at the cafe, I have the lemon loaf.
Because you know that.
I know this is why you've come.
Deficient.
I know this is why you're here. You're here for the lemon loaf. So it's about taste. I want to source high quality ingredients, yes. But is it worth the added expense?
Is it worth it?
So the Great Milk Experiment sought to answer that question.
Okay.
So, Mikey, which one did you like the best?
And we tried to analyze why this was, but I chose, and I think it was, I know my favorite was the store-bought.
Yes.
My favorite was the store-bought, and I think my second favorite was kind of the locally, I think it was Shamrock locally sourced.
Yes.
Like, so it's still a brand name, but locally sourced.
Yes.
And then my least favorite was the full-on local branding, local sourcing.
Yes. I really, you know how I get. I want to be fancy. I really do.
The nice glass bottles.
The nice glass bottles from Danheiser is the name of it. Danheiser, whatever.
Yeah.
They're a farm down in Phoenix, and they, you get it in glass.
Oh, it's so nice.
So good.
You just want to drink straight from the bottle.
Oh, it looks so good.
You want that milk mustache.
And then Shamrock is half gallon.
Oh, it had the handle too. The sport carry or whatever.
The sport carry, and it was a bottle that was not see-through, right? So
yeah.
So that the UV lights wouldn't damage the milk.
Yeah. Now
And
we're
then
talking.
The best one was the
Straight
one
up.
from Fry's.
Plastic gallon
Grocery store, gallon jug, less than half the cost at more than twice the milk from the ultra fancy one.
Yeah. And it tastes the best.
And it tastes the best. And you know what? Everyone that I did the blind taste test for, they chose the grocery store one.
Now, just to
a couple
say,
quid pro quos there. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, we thought, well, why is that? Could it be because most of us, I think, in this highly scientific study, have drank this milk historically, grew up with it.
You did, for sure. We normally buy ours from Costco. That's normally where we get our milk.
Okay.
But our palate's accustomed to cheaper milk.
This process.
Could be, because we were just using our taste, and we're cheap folk.
I don't think any of the milks were bad.
None of them were bad.
They were all good, but I thought this one, I just want to drink this one. And to me, it was kind of different levels of like sourness almost.
Yeah.
Is how I would classify it. There wasn't much different as far as taste, but it was like, the sourness.
It was the least sour.
You could tell, one of them might have got into
an onion patch.
There you go.
Hello, Napoleon.
We watched that the other day.
So the other thing that I want to say is that we drank the milk cold. We did not steam it.
We didn't heat it up.
We don't have a steamer, so it's not like we tasted it in a latte. It's not like we tasted it steamed. And could there be a difference? Could we?
Maybe.
Could it be different once you start adding heat to it? Maybe. maybe. But for our purposes,
For
at the
all
moment,
intensive purposes. I like saying that.
intensive?
Isn't that the saying? For all intensive purposes.
No, for all intent and purpose.
Oh, it's not intensive?
No, it's not intensive.
Ooh. I like intensive.
I know you do. I know you do.
Yeah, just
For
put
all
that intensive shelf over there by the linoleum.
So we like the cheap milk, thought it tastes the best. And I think that you shouldn't just discount cheap milk because you want to be a fancy cafe. If you want to pour your cheap milk into a fancy bottle to serve it, you know what I mean? To put it into your steamer, you can do that. You can work on the presentation, but find the milk that you like the best and then serve it. Even if it's not the most expensive, it's not the most expensive milk is not always the best tasting milk. That's what I took away from it.
I think that holds true for most things.
Yeah.
And I think it's generally what you're accustomed to, honestly, because if you think of wine or alcohol or even coffee, you get the most expensive. Didn't you just tell me what a geisha lot sold for the other day?
$601 a pound.
Wow. And I bet you most coffee drinkers would not like the cup that it produces.
Yeah, probably not.
Because it would just be so exotic and different. But that's what they're paying for.
Yeah, let me put in fact, let me put a little cream and sugar in this here. Do you have any of that was it raspberry mocha carnation creamer?
Yeah, I need to cut this a little bit.
I need to cut this a little bit.
So anyway, that was the Great Milk Experiment. So don't be afraid to try just store-bought. Experiment with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Find what's best. Find what's best. And just because it's expensive doesn't mean that it's better. Does not mean that it is better. Okay.
All right.
Coffee legend.
Coffee legends.
Jared Truby.
Ooh.
1/3 of the Cat and Cloud podcast company, sorry, and 1/2 of Trubaka. Jared Truby. He's our coffee legend. In addition to being a co-owner of Cat and Cloud, Jared Truby is the director of operations for Castle Coffee Roasters and the French Press in Santa Barbara. He is passionate about the service industry and loves creating special experiences for each and every person who walks through his doors. Jared is what you'd call a dreamer. He loves to observe, study, and figure out how things work and is forever brainstorming the best and most progressive ways to improve upon them. He applies this attitude and work ethic to coffee, business, surfing, being a father and a husband, and living life in general. Jared was also one of the founding pillars of Verve Coffee Roasters in Santa Cruz, where he was head of retail for Northern California, coordinating events and managing all 3 Verve locations in Santa Cruz. Jared has been featured on the cover of Barista magazine alongside his bro, Chris Baca, as Trubaka, has been a finalist in the USBC and has taken first place in the Western Regional Barista Championships.
Nice.
He's got your back. Holler at him.
So one thing that I've grown to know over the year listening to their podcasts is he's got a real big passion for service, customer service.
Yeah, he does.
You know, I think he's the one that's kind of in love with Disney and the experience and the magic you experience when you go there, and really wanted to bring that to the shop. And that's why I think one of the reasons they go there for training, as they've talked about, just because there's more to it than just serving a great cup of coffee. It's making people feel great and wanting to come back, and treating people as you want to be treated, and you know, in some cases even better.
That's it.
So I think, we did Chris, and now we want to do Jared.
Can't do Chris without doing Jared.
Can't.
No.
Can't
do it. Can't do it, but he's definitely a coffee legend.
Yes.
Is that it? Is that all you got?
Is there? I think so.
That's it?
I think that's what we've got.
Perfect.
Is that all you've got?
That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Catch you next week.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for staying with us a little bit longer. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Do you kind of find it ironic, though, that we went from like 2 podcasts a week we had 0 problems with, and then we decided, well, let's move it down to 1 podcast a week, and we almost ended up with 0 podcasts this week?
And then when we finally podcast, it's almost the length of 2.
Yeah. Do you find that ironic or no?
No.
Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. We'll catch you next time.
Do you find life ironic?
Yes.
Then yes.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Adios.
We will indeed catch you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. This was episode 71, and you can catch the show notes at orangecactuscoffee.com/episode 71. Really appreciate you guys listening. Really appreciate your time, and we will catch you next time. It's not good, but it's not bad.